Dot, 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 dot. Good morning, everybody. This is Grant, and I'm feeling phenomenal this morning. How are you doing? We've been up for a little while, and I've got some good stuff. Today, we are wrapping our series on goals. Yes, since January 1st, I've been covering kind of my ADHD system on how do I take all of my desires and fears and concerns and responsibilities and the cloud of things that my brain thinks about, how I capture those into a useful system. Today, we wrap that up. We've been covering that for a few weeks. And then, of course, we go back to our regularly scheduled programming. Where's my chat? There we go. But before that, of course, we have other news that has hopefully nothing to do with politics and hopefully nothing to do with COVID, or at least only tangentially. And the goal is to elevate. The goal is that we keep ourselves informed as citizens of the world, first and foremost, as humans, first and foremost, as we keep ourselves elevated above the fray and above the conversation and stay informed about higher things that continue to matter. And before that, we've got a cup of gratitude. That's right. You and I are going to share a warm cup of coffee or gratitude or tea this morning and just share and start the day with what we're grateful for. Some of you have been executing powerful gratitude habits in your homes, and I applaud you. And I'd like to hear what you're grateful for today. I want to hear it. It enriches my life to hear what you are grateful for today and to know that you are out there saying positive things, doing positive things, and being a positive force for other people as well. I'll tell you what I'm grateful for this morning. I am grateful for the act of principles in my life. I am grateful for principles. And by principles, I don't mean like life hacks. I just mean principles. For example, one principle is buy low, sell high. Good morning, Jessica. Hope you're doing great. One principle I have is buy low, sell high, don't chase the markets. Just a principle. Buy low, sell high, don't chase the markets. And right now you can imagine where this is going. Bitcoin is going nuts. It crossed the $40,000 mark. There's some low-key Bitcoin millionaires out there that you're not going to hear about this time around. We covered that yesterday. But I have several people who know that I did a program back in the day called the Smart Crypto Coach. And we always dialogue about crypto and what's going on because I do keep my thumb on crypto. And this idea of chasing the markets is really biting people in the butt, where chasing the markets means, oh, it's rallying and I don't want to miss the move. So as it moves towards new highs, remember, you're supposed to buy low, sell high, not buy high and chase the markets. They think it's going to keep running, so they'll buy in now. Well, we know not to do this on real estate. Why don't we do this with stocks and crypto? Because they don't want to miss out. FOMO is supreme. But here's a rule. If something is at its all-time high, it's going to pull back at least 5 to 10%. So wait for that moment. Again, not trading advice, but this is a principle in action. Buy low, sell high. I'm grateful for these principles because I made 40% yesterday. 40% yesterday. And it was lunch money. It wasn't screw you money. I'm not the next crypto millionaire, but while people were watching Bitcoin, I looked at it and said it was high. Well, the principle of living is don't buy high and sell low, buy low and sell high. And if this were real estate, I wouldn't buy in because it's too high. So it's Bitcoin. So I'm not going to buy in. So I looked around and realized, oh, there's another crypto called Ripple. And it was really low because the SEC threatened to sue them. So it was at 60 cents and then it was at 23 cents. So I bought low. And then in one day, it moved about 40%, and I made my 40%. And what are you supposed to do? Sell high. And so some people are going to jump on Ripple now. Well, don't do that because the trading is about to halt because of the SEC. But if you're chasing the markets, you're going to lose. It's an example of how principles work. Buy low, sell high. So today, for my morning cup of gratitude, I'm grateful that when you don't know what to do, you revert to age-old principles. Love your enemy. Right? I just talked to an awesome entrepreneur who he has had a lot of conflict over the last 2 years, but he puts one foot in front of the other. He's persistent, right? So he lives on principles and he has to love his enemies. So he had people that accused him of some stuff and he followed this principle. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to respond. I don't know if I should defend myself or not defend myself. And what about social media? Love your enemies. That's what he did. And he's moved on since then and has gone on to make a lot more money and do a lot more ever. I love and am grateful for this morning. My cup of gratitude is full of, I'm grateful for principles today. What principles do you live by? I want to see in the comments. What are your principles? What are principles that you just say all the time? What are the principles that you say all the time? You know, one principle, and it sounds kind of chintzy and weird, but it's actually true for business. Sales solves everything. It doesn't really solve everything. But if your business feels a little flat, go out and sit across from someone and a potential client and talk to them about their business and their world and their life. And you might learn something. You might feel, your business might feel enriched. And also, you might get a sale. It doesn't solve everything, but when you're unsure what to do, go sell something, right? I know it's a funny principle, but there's a lot of principles. What are other principles you do? When I get flaked out, I take a nap. It's a principle. When I get completely burnt out, I step outside or I lay down and take a nap. 20-minute naps solve everything. What are principles you live by? I want to hear your principles. Please enrich me. If you're watching, if you're one of the 6, 7, 7, 6, 9, 5 people watching, I can see the analytics. If you're one of these people watching right now, I want to hear what principles you live by so I can hear your cup of gratitude. But with that, let's move forward, my friends, with other news. In other news, why are platypuses so weird? And I feel like I'm swearing when I say that word. Platypus. What is the plural of platypi? Maybe platypi is the plural of platypuses. I don't even know. But why are platypi so darn weird? So in today's news, platypi, someone help me out here. They have 10 sex chromosomes. They have venomous spurs. They have fluorescent skin that glows in the dark. They sweat milk. They lay eggs, but nurse on milk their young. This is a weird freaking animal. And if I didn't believe in gene splicing before the modern era, I would after looking at platypuses. Let me tell you something. So we finally completely mapped the genetic makeup of platypuses. I don't know what they're called. And we have found that, yes, they are a bird. Yes, they are a reptile. Yes, they are a mammal. Jessica says she didn't know any of this. What? Where have you been? I'm just teasing. I mean, not that many people know. Yes, glowing skin. Jessica says, wait, glowing skin? Yes, glowing skin, my friend. Like if you actually put them under a black light, you'll see platypuses will glow. And so I don't know if this is just a result of Nazi genetic gene splicing, but I think platypuses have been recorded for many centuries. And in this last century, we finally mapped the genome of the platypus. Please share it with your kids, Jessica. They're going to freak out. I do believe that platypi only occupy, if I'm not mistaken, only occupy Australia, but I'm not entirely sure of that. But it would be worth going to Australia alone with a black light just to see these freaking crazy critters. But please do not touch their venomous spurs. But it would be bizarre to see a creature that lays eggs and milks its young, which isn't completely, or feeds its young on milk. Insane. But this is the power of AI in our modern era. We are learning more about our planet and our biome than ever before with artificial intelligence even. So in other news from platypi, because I am swearing. In other news, The Mandalorian gets the Thomas Kincaid, Bob Ross treatment. Boom. Here you go. So yes, it is true. The official Thomas Kincaid Studios, the ones that basically took over in my mind's eye after Bob Ross was gone, they really made it simple to see how beautiful paintings could be painted. Thomas Kincaid, and they had cottages and they had a lot of Christian art, and they were around for a long time, and they're kind of not that relevant at the moment. Hence, several pieces from The Mandalorian, whether it's Grogu heading towards a frog pond, which is kind of dark for our Thomas Kincaid painting, or whether it's the Mandalorian standing in front of the whatever beast that Grogu is hovering, or whether it's the Mandalorian poking at Grogu and his little Beskar steel egg, nerd alert. Whatever it is, Thomas Kincaid has come up with several beautiful pieces, and it's kind of weird. And the Grogu ones actually look a little odd in my opinion, but there you are from Nerdist.com. Leitra likes the video. Are you liking Thomas Kincaid? Are you just dropping by this morning? But yes, from the Nerdist, you have Thomas Kincaid treatment on the Mandalorian art. That should go good in any grandmother's cottage. A Mandalorian art. Fun fact on this, we had a good laugh about this the other day with our lovely friend Mandy. We were laughing because I saw a TikTok where this kid who is oftentimes at odds with his family finally got them a Jesus painting for their home for Christmas. And their reaction on TikTok is priceless. They were so teary-eyed, and you can see behind their mind's eye, they're thinking, is our son coming to Jesus? And it's a hilarious TikTok because it's actually young Obi-Wan Kenobi and the parents don't know. It just looks like Jesus, man. Leitra Davis says, I love art. And Leitra, I love all kinds of art as well. In fact, I'm convicted. I have not put paint on a canvas in weeks since Christmas has kind of been done. I'm going to go back and paint, and I'm committed to painting this weekend. The only reason I TGIF is because I finally carve out the brain space to paint, and I should do that through all the week anyway. But that's coming this weekend. I also love art. Other news number 3, and then let's move on. AI is now closer than ever to actually helping humans with creativity. Yes, not humans helping AI be creative, AI helping humans be creative. So what's going on with this? They're calling it augmented creativity. And we know about virtual reality. And we know that virtual reality is really difficult on the human eyes to do without getting dizzy. Augmented reality, we know, is taking off. Whether it's TikTok filters or Instagram filters or Snapchat filters, people are really starting to experiment with fun, creative ways to have augmented reality. So then we also have artificial intelligence come along, and they've been wielding artificial intelligence to even write new doctoral theses. Leitra says, yeah, man, you got to keep that creativity flowing and that passion flowing on the canvas, even if it's one stroke per day. I will take that encouragement, Leitra. Thank you so much. And I'm going to paint today, and I will post on it just to confirm as an accountability that I am at least putting a little bit of paint on that canvas every single day. I love this community. I love the community of Jessica and Leitra and Brock and Lisa Welsh and all the people that come on. I really appreciate you guys spurring the creativity. So AI, we've been wielding AI to actually write new doctoral theses. You can survey, you can basically put in tens of thousands of doctoral theses into AI, and it can start to make correlations. Now, what we know about creativity with humans is oftentimes it's a synthetic sort of learning. We take 2 or 3 or multiple pieces of information and weave them into a new thought. This is what anyone's PhD actually is all about, is weaving together and adding to the new body of thought. Jessica Ojeda jumps in and says, I love that too. 1 stroke a day. Whoop. 1 stroke of paint a day, 1 song a day, 1 line. This is why TikTok is taking off, because it is nurturing creativity 15 seconds at a time. And I was just going through some rap feeds, TikTok rap, and listening to some of the creativity that people would basically free rap right there, spontaneous rapping within 15 seconds and putting these bars together and actually creating some really good music. It was fantastic. 1 stroke a day. That's right. So AI can actually create these theses. So now what they're saying is can we use AI to create connections in synthetic combinations in lots of ways, and then put that in front of a human audience or a human, and that person determine whether or not this is a new creative, useful direction. And a very simple example of that was Jukebox. Jukebox actually set free all of its music and all of its clients' likes to AI. It assessed it, calculated all the database of data, and then finally started putting out its own mixes. And then they put those mixes unbeknownst to users and said, which of these do you like? And then they realized, wow, if we could low-key put AI generated music into people's ears and they can say, oh, that sounds like crap. I don't know who created that, but that's horrible. Or that sounds great. Who created that? And then we're finding out that AI is creating this music. Fantastic experiment. This is now moving into the business world. This is now moving into the manufacturing line where we're actually using AI to work with. Good morning, Nate. I hope you're doing great. The illustrious Nate Fleming checking in with us this morning. So actually using AI to create jokes and seeing whether or not people are laughing at the jokes or not laughing at the jokes. But this is also going into creative consultancy. So watch for this. Yes, we have augmented reality, but for this piece of other news, check back for augmented creativity, which is definitely coming soon. Here's the article on that for those who care. Boom, boom, boom. It's a very interesting article on the fusion of artificial intelligence and creativity. And that, my friends, is other news. Let's talk about setting up your environment for goal achievement. Here we go. I love that. This morning I have tea, Earl Grey tea. Are you a tea drinker? And if you are a tea drinker, what is the tea you prefer? Earl Grey or Lady Grey tea are some of my absolute favorites. Okay, so last but not least, here we go. Good morning, Katie. Good morning. Katie Yates says good morning. She's bopping by. Nate Fleming bopped by. Leetra's here. Jessica's here. I love this community. You guys are so uplifting to start my day with. So here we go. As promised, today is the final day of our series, if you will, on goal setting. And we've been doing this goal setting since the new year when I started laying out how actually I, Mr. ADD Brain, put together. Jessica says pomegranate tea is her current fave. Is that caffeinated at all? Is your pomegranate tea have any caffeine at all? Probably not. She's such a purist. Energy code. She's governing her energies. Katie says Bengal spice. And Leetra says, what does she say here? I love tea, but Earl Grey isn't the business. Get out of here. Leetra's dogging on my Earl Grey tea. Go home, sister. I love Earl Grey. What is your favorite, if not Earl Grey? You're allowed to like and dislike what you choose. I'm just not going to take that. I love Earl Grey. Thank you for playing, you guys. So we've been covering how Mr. ADD Brain and how I've channeled all of my rapid thought into usefulness, down to being a coach who just comes up with more solutions, a consultant for nonprofits who does problem solving because I synthesize so much. But that only helps if you can channel that thought. So I covered what amounts to the Top 100 Dream Igniter. My book, you can get it on Amazon. We're doing a whole new design. So you can get the old one. If you buy the old one, I'll commit to getting you a copy of the new one as well if you want to get started. A lot of the activity is the same, but the content's been updated because we wrote it back in 2013, 2014. So the new one's coming out. But we've been covering my process. So you can skip the book and go down into my feed and go back until we actually started with this section called the download. And that's how we take the asteroid field of thoughts, of responsibilities, desires, cravings into useful to-dos, boom, and get them out of our head. And there should be a catharsis, a relaxation that happens because all those open loops get captured into an unordered list. Then the next step is we actually categorize them. The list itself is not ordered. There's no priority or sequence, but there is categories. And that helps us start to look and think creatively about the categories. And now that all this stuff is not in our head, we should have the space, a little bit of space, to categorize those thoughts. Then we actually ranked those by A, B, C, D, and E, and we made two passes, once with the unordered list and once with the categorized list. Items that we said we should eliminate, we cleared that off the plate, and there's more catharsis. Oh, yeah, buddy. And then for the items that were absolute top priority, we looked at those, and then we looked at the categories, and we did a logical order overview, where we actually looked and said, hey, is there a linchpin goal that unlocks the other goals? And then once we actually got that together, then we did our 1 year chunking. We looked at the linchpin goal and said, if I'm going to give myself 18 weeks, 18 days, 18 weeks, or 18 months, we pick one of those chunks, one of those units of measure, and we break the goal down into 18 steps. Why 18? Because I think you should give yourself about 18 months because we greatly overestimate what we can get accomplished in 1 year and underestimate what we can accomplish in 3. That's what brought us to yesterday. And then we smarted the goals yesterday. I'm sorry. So then today, we're just going to wrap up today by talking about how to set up an environment for success. Before that, Leitra jumped in and said she makes her own blend of tea. She's got cardamom, coriander, cinnamon, fresh ginger, star anise, nutmeg, and a pinch of clove. That sounds like a holiday cleanse. If I drank that, I would clear myself out, TMI, for a Friday morning. I'm telling you what. Woo! That's a good mixture. If you guys want to check out Leitra's mixture, go check out the Facebook feed of her custom tea. So this morning is all about, I'm just going to wrap this up and highlight how. So it's one thing to have ADD brain, right? It's another thing to capture those items from ADD brain and channel that into an organized strategy. And we've done that. If you follow these steps, I guarantee, I give you the Grant guarantee. If you actually meditate where I tell you to meditate, time out where I tell you to time out, focus where I tell you to focus, take the time allotted. I told you some of these processes take a few hours. If you follow the instructions, I give you the Grant guarantee, you're going to have a bit of catharsis, and then you're going to have an action plan, you took your chaos and made it a genius action plan, a genius strategy. You have sequence. Don't let anyone tell you you don't know how to strategize because you're all over the place. You do. You have the system. But here's where everything breaks down for the spastic ADHD brain. It breaks down right here, right now, in the area of governing one's own time and one's own focus. It has to go from internal to external, and that's why we're talking about environment today. You need to set up an environment for success. You need to set up an environment to thrive. We're moving from the inside out, talking about principles, part of my gratitude. Where's my 7 habits? Oh my gosh, it's not here. Talking about principles this morning. I started that my cup of gratitude was I'm grateful for principles. Stephen Covey was big on principles. And he said we got to work from the inside out. And that's what we've been doing in this process. So now we have to move from the inside, which we've been dealing with, to the outside, putting it in lists like we've been doing, and even further, creating an environment. Let's cover this. Number one, clean your space. Set an entire Saturday aside to clean your space. If you've got piles like I do, I got piles. Do you have piles? I've got piles everywhere. So creating like a big refrigerator box or a big microwave box or a moving box, put it in the middle of the room and clean up your space. Clean off your desk, clean out the corners and the nooks and crannies. If these things have to-dos attached to them, start cleaning, get a big box or get a pile in the middle, put it in the middle, set the space up the way it should be, and then begin to purge items, get rid of items, throw them out. And just the basic idea here, you got to eliminate stuff. If your goal is to lose weight, but you got donuts in the fridge, get rid of it. Come on. Like, I don't have to say that, but someone needs to say, we shouldn't have to say that. Terry says, I have piles. Good morning. I know, Terry, I know how it is to have piles, man. That is too funny. Where is that at? Boom. So the first thing is cleaning. Clean your house, clean your car, clean your post office box, clean your room, clean your bathroom, clean the kitchen out, clean the fridge out, get rid of smells, burn some sage or burn some candles, just freshen everything up, do your laundry, do the big chunks. One of the things we always neglect with ADD brain is we start to collect things. And when we collect them, we add open loops to our brain. I've got, from yesterday, I got a ticket when we were, not a ticket, a toll when we were driving in Texas. And it's like a $20 toll. I've got to pay it. Someday I'll make time for it. I've stuck it on my desk, so it adds to the pile. And now every time I pass by, I add a new open loop. And it's making things worse for Mr. ADD brain. So I got to capture that. I got to clean. So step one is clean. Step two, once everything is clean, take a nap. You're probably going to need one. But step two is wall calendars. Now, currently, I don't really have space of my own to do well. I got this space. I guess I could do it back here. But actually putting up wall calendars for the entire next 18 months. It's easy to go out to the shelf and buy a 12-month calendar, but add 18 months so that you visually think long-term. Leitra says, cleaning out your space clears thoughts. Cleaning out your space clears thoughts. It's hard for my type of personality, creative, dreamer, visionary, but I've learned that I must bring some order to help me keep track of my creativity. Absolutely. And then Terry says, If you don't pay it now, it will go up. Yes, Terry, I got to create psychological pain. I'm going to pay it, I promise. So step 2 is wall calendars. I do this because the one thing ADD people do is we mismanage our time because we get so hyper-focused on the emotional value of the thing in front of us in that moment that we lose track of the context of the commitments we've made. I've made commitments to do something today. I've got to sell some websites and I've got to organize my coaching clients. I got to do those things. But I'll go to work and my employees will say, hey, Grant, I need this. And inside of me, the shiny object comes up and I know and I feel what my employee feels and I want to help them. And suddenly the visual representation of the calendars fade away and suddenly I have misprioritized myself. This is the plight of the ADD, anybody really, but the ADD brain. So when you have wall calendars that every time you walk by, it shows you 12 to 18 months of context, you are reminded of your journey. And you're reminded of the step you committed to today and its importance. Never break the chain. Its importance of the chain of events that need to occur in order to succeed over the next 12 to 18 months. The wall calendars are not just to like plan, though they are. They are to govern your energy and to remind you with a physical talisman. It's called object permanence. It's a 3-dimensional real thing that your brain knows is important when you walk by it. So I don't even have my calendar set up yet, and I'm not dependent on it, but I do so much better when I have it. So I'm going to commit to finding a way. Now, I do have a desk calendar, boop, 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 but it's just not the same. Terry says, so you just diagnosed me as ADD. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we're all just crazy busy, Terry. So don't take it as a diagnosis per se, but maybe. And share it with a friend who might think that they're ADD. So you got to do the wall calendars. And here's the thing about the wall calendars. Put up all of your known appointments. Put on the calendar your travel so that you know adventure is coming and you know travel is coming. Put on that your time off. Then put on that the repeatable things, the habits you know you want to do. Getting to the gym. This is going to be laborious. This is going to take you time. But put it on a physical calendar, whether it's your desk calendar or your wall calendar. Make it happen. Because if you do not put it down, it doesn't exist. It's just a wish and not a commitment. Put it on the calendar, it becomes a commitment. And every time, and then go through your to-dos, go through your stickies, go through your list and see, like if you go through your fitness category, you can put on 18 months, I have Operation Find My Abs and I'm eating right. So back up a month from then, and then what are you doing? Well, I'm going to the gym so many times a week. And then back that up on the calendar. We've kind of reverse engineered this with your commitment sheets from yesterday. Go skim through the video from yesterday for the commitment sheet I gave you. I gave you the commitment sheet, and it has your chunks. Put those chunks on the calendar. So that's what happens with the wall calendar. You take your chunks from the commitment sheets and put it on the calendar. Step 3, repeat the same process for Google Calendar or your digital calendar so that your reminders pop up. This is populating reminders. If you ever ask your Google Assistant, hey, what's my day look like? It's going to tell you back your reminders. So you've got a person in the form of AI telling you what you've already put on the calendars in your room with the big calendar as well as on your Google Calendar. Grant, this is going to take a lot of time. Yes, my dear friend, it takes a time to channel a human. That's what you're doing is you're channeling greatness. Step 4, I have a cell phone backdrop. Let me get there. I have a cell phone backdrop, and I don't think you can see that too well. That's my backdrop. Goal 1, write the Top 100 Dream Igniter course. Do the Top 100 Dream Igniter course. And then I've got all my other items there. Absolutely. And I create that. There's apps out there that you can create it or just use like Canva and download it to your cell phone, email it to yourself. But every time I open my phone, I am reminded of that goal as well. So Google is going, hey, this is your goal. You said you were going to do this at 10 a.m., hit the gym at 10 a.m. But you can see there that also just unconsciously, I glance at my backdrop and it tells me to do the course. So that's number 4. And then, I did want to say this. I also have my Google Keep say out loud to me 2 reminders a day. And these reminders are the top two goals I have. One is a money goal, so much money a month. And the other is a weight goal. I want to weigh 178 pounds by doing X, Y, and Z. So those reminders also pop up in my notifications. Jessica says, I love the backdrop idea. No joke, man. That was a big one. The backdrop on my cell phone was big. Now, I also did the backdrop on my laptop, right? My desktop. And it had like the TLE, fitness and health, healthy, happy relationships, work I enjoy, and spirituality. And it had like a dream board. And on there was, of course, Brad Pitt abs, Operation Find My Abs. And so it was on my desktop. And then I created a laptop for some employee, and it automatically loaded my backdrop. So embarrassing. But that's okay. The backdrops work, especially for the cell phone, because we look at our cell phones so many times in a single day. So powerful tool. Then I have my day planner. And my day planner, I reached for it, but it's in the other room because I was looking at it earlier. It's my Moleskine pocket goal. So my pocket calendar. It matches the wall calendar. It matches my Google calendar. It also has my private notes, like Marissa's birthday's coming up, and I don't want her to see that on the Google calendar because we share Google calendars. I don't want her to see that on the big calendar because she walks by it, right? So it goes in my Moleskine. So it's got some private things, private notes. As people tell me things throughout the day, I write them in my Moleskine. I don't put them here. I put them in the Moleskine first because of object permanence. It has more of a memory. So a physical planner that fits in my pocket, like right there. Marissa prefers a big one. I don't like the big ones. For me, it's about reminding myself that I have goals and a purpose. I don't even use it sometimes. I'll go weeks sometimes and not write in it, but I will carry it. And carrying that talisman, carrying that reminder that I have goals is more important than even using the thing. Trust me on this. So then the fifth item, that was the fifth item, physical day planner. The sixth item, my dream machine, and I've shown you this before in previous episodes. It's a physical binder that goes in my backpack that has all of my goals written out. Some of the work we just did for the last few days, it has those printed out in print form that I recite before bed and when I wake up in the morning. I recite them. I open it up and I read them out loud. These are things I want to be. I am shaping who I am. I'm giving myself my own feedback loop and saying to myself what I am. So I have my dream machine that's in my backpack. So when I pull my computer out, I'm always touching it. I'm touching my dreams multiple times a day, and they're manifesting all around me. They're manifesting on the calendar. They're manifesting in my backpack. They're manifesting in the background, and eventually they're manifesting here. How do I know this works? You want to see something that'll trip you out? This will trip you out, and you're seeing this here live. Let me show you my backdrop. What's that goal? To create the Top 100 Dream Igniter course. That's been my goal since mid last year, and my life gets chaotic and crazy. What is today's the last lesson of? Today is the last lesson. Good morning, Robert Blackledge. I hope you're doing great, sir. Today is the last lesson of the Top 100 Dream Igniter course. I've been doing this for goal setting since the year started. I'm actually going to edit these videos down, get rid of other news, get rid of Morning Cup of Gratitude, carve out the lesson, put it together. I have finished that course. That's proof that unconsciously and I've been fighting to make this course for a long time, but yay, I have the video and it's saved here. So we covered the dream machine. So you're touching your dreams everywhere you go. So you've basically gone from inside, clearing your brain, getting some catharsis, and then getting some organization. Outside of yourself, we created a plan. A little bit further outside of yourself, we've got the wall calendars. We've got all these calendars. Here's the next one to level up. Give yourself room to work. Private, uninterrupted space. Now, if you have a small room and you just have your room or an apartment, make it a whole corner of your room. And even if you just have like a laptop desk, a lap desk, if that's all it is, make a consistent place for you to work. I am lucky enough now to have a whole home office now where I have my desk and my setup, and I had to work in a corner lap desk for years. And I'm grateful. I'm full of gratitude that I finally have my own home office. And that's a space, but you need a repeatable space for object permanence. So I have my desktop calendar here. I've got my setup that as soon as I sit down, I hit the light on and boom, it clicks my state into success. And when I do these videos, what am I seeing in these videos? I see my logo. I see my logo. I see even reflected back to me right here, my priority pyramid. I see my art. I am being reminded just when I do these videos, just like the backdrop to my cell phone, of the goals I have, right? And then also the desk itself has those goals. So even when I'm not doing the video and I'm doing the show, I've got my daily action plan. I've got my pitch one sheet. I am reminded, set up a workspace so that you are always reminded who you are and what you're about and what you're working on, and you'll see it manifest. So that's number 7. Number 8, and this is a big one, and this is where you definitely moving from the inside out. And Robert Blackledge, actually, who checked in a moment ago, is big on this. This guy is awesome for this. Your community. Robert Blackledge makes sure he has ensured and even made huge decisions to make sure he is attached like a molecule to a powerful community. And he has contributed to that community in huge ways. He was part of one business community, and when that wasn't working out and it wasn't reciprocating, he moved to another business community, and I applaud him for that. You have to do what it takes to get like a molecule to attach to people that are feeding you back your goals, and hopefully you are reciprocating. Hopefully your pursuit of goals is enriching other people's lives. You are somebody's who, and hopefully they are your who. And that is, who is going to help me with X? Someone else is asking, who is going to help me with Y? And you guys go, boom, we can do this. Who is my who? Not someone that I get free work from, not someone that I'm taking advantage of, someone who we have synergy with, and we are flowing back and forth with enriching each other's lives. Are we co-elevating one another? Purge people who should not be on your calendar. Purge them. I'm serious about this, serious about this. Cut people. Do it. The biggest waste in our life will be people who are not contributing. The biggest gift in our life are people who are contributing. I heard the definition of sacrifice once is letting go of things of a lower nature to make room for things of a higher nature. Even if someone is generally neutral to you, maybe they're not bad. Maybe they're not rushing the Capitol building or getting involved in useless debates. Maybe they're not even that person. Maybe they're just neutral. Even neutral people need to be assessed. You need to be moving up and on with your goals. Your dreams deserve it. So again, establish a community. Marissa spent a few hours out last night with some really powerful girls. I can't wait to hear how it went. Of course, I was asleep by the time she got home. So that's number 8, build a community. And number 9, and this is so important, curb your social media. Do not cut it off. Prune it, curate it. I am not a proponent of eliminating social media. Get out of here with that mess. Cutting social media means you do not have the discipline to simply prune your feed and unfollow people. Social media is so powerful. It's like augmented reality or AI. Why would you cut social media? Because I get all this negativity. I hear all this negative news. Prune it. You can prune your content. You can thin out who you see posts from. You can approve of who you do want to see posts from. You can unfollow the news channel that passes lies all the time and add to you uplifting feeds from Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, your favorite female speaker, your favorite boss girl. Quit avoiding social media like you don't know how to filter your thing. Listen, I love you. But social media is not just like this extra hassle of the modern life, and it's totally clogging my mind. Stop that. Social media, hear me on this. In the evolution of our species, social media is a new appendage. It's a new antenna that connects you in deeper ways. This show and all of the love that we shared so far this morning about tea and about goals and about gratitude, that is only possible because of social media. If you are a social media hater, shame on you. You are literally opting out of the human species. Jessica says, I'm purging my Instagram, going through over 4,000 people to unfollow. That is huge. Now, I do propose this. Curate your life. Unfollow people. In fact, some of the biggest TikTok groups I follow, they'll have 40,000 followers and they will only be following 6 people. That's huge. You are allowed to curate your list. Do it. You don't need 6,000 people of no-name people. You should have 500 people that you curate. And if nothing more about your calendar, curating your community, if you do this symbolically through social media first, it'll be easy because you'll just fall off their radar. That one moderate, neutral person in your life who kind of was a drain on you, if they're not following you and they don't see your updates, you can determine whether or not they even see your updates. That person you want to begin to cut off, go to that person's social media and block, make it so that they don't see your stuff. Don't unfriend them. Just make it so that they don't see your stuff and then mute them for the next 30 days. They'll clear off your calendar like it was nobody's business. Take control of your social media. Listen, my beauties, do these things. These are not like haphazard, maybe try this, maybe try that. These are part of the system of the top 100 Dream Igniter that you absolutely need to do. Go back to the first lesson and start this fresh. Bookmark these because I am going to actually, like I said, slice and dice these, and they're going to end up into a paid course. You've gotten this just hanging out with me. You've gotten this material just hanging out with me. This is actually going to become a paid course, and these suggestions aren't just haphazard willy-nilly. Do them like you would do any other step, and you can take the chaos that is your ADD brain and channel it into a useful action strategy and curate a powerful networking community. Do this thing today. Listen, I'm out of here. I'm going to spend the rest of the morning with my beautiful bride and then my awesome team. Remember the mission today. Igniting lives of explosive significance, starting with your own.